Music has the power to speak to our hearts and activate our minds around the issues of our time. Music is a vital tool for building an equitable and resilient future. Music can change the world. Hi, I'm Liz Stuckey-Sundy, Executive Director and co-founder of Music to Life. Thank you so much for tuning in to learn more about our mission to activate social change through music. Music and social change have always gone hand in hand, and for 20 years, Music to Life has been exploring and supporting music's ability to transform our communities. We produce music programs that foster connection and creativity. We partner with organizations to present educational panels and workshops. And today, we're committed to raising up our amazing network of social change musicians. The artists we work with are change makers who empower and transform their communities through music. Our mission is to amplify their voices and support their work through funding, performance opportunities, mentorships, and other vital resources. Now you'll see Music to Life's mission in action. Get to know these artists. Let them into your hearts and let them inspire you, because this is Music to Life. Thanks again for joining us. Hi everybody, it's Liz again with the COVID haircut since that video was made. Welcome to Accelerating Change and this incredible showcase of these Accelerator artists, some of whom you met at last year's SWRFA, and now you're seeing them again. We're just so happy to share with you what's happened in their lives since you knew about them last. I am your host and MC today, and obviously a big thank you to SWRFA. So grateful for their support and collaboration as, again, Music to Life launched this accelerator in Texas. And hello and welcome to all of you. You're in for a great show. Thanks for joining us. Most of you know my dad as Noel Paul Stuckey of the folk trio Peter, Paul, and Mary. And he and I started Music to Life to build activism through music. And today, the Activist Musician Accelerator is the first incubator of its kind for social change musicians. The Accelerator helps musicians step off the stage and into activism by connecting them with the resources, the mentors, and the skills they need to put music to work in their communities. And oh my gosh, do we need their work. I just want to take a moment to acknowledge what an incredibly challenging time this has been and is still for us as a country. We and our communities are hurting economically, socially, spiritually, and of course now physically as these wildfires just rage on in the West. So the work of Music to Life and this accelerator is more important than ever because it taps talented artists as change agents. And they can really play an active role in getting us and the communities we care about back on our feet. So as part of our gathering here, you're going to get to know, maybe even beyond some of these artists you already know, but you're going to get to know them even better. Amanda Pascali, Sasha, Klare-Ayvazian, Stephen Herenandez, Cheryl, Cawood, and Kamica King. Each of them is using their music as a strategic tool to address head-on some of the challenges we're seeing around us. So our first artist this evening is Amanda Pascali from Houston, Texas. She's an activist musician who's committed to providing basic resources and storytelling opportunities for refugees while encouraging them to develop their own definition of being American in the year 2020. So everyone, please welcome Amanda Pascali.
Thank you, Liz, and thank you to all the folks at SWRFA, and thanks to everybody who's tuning in online. My name is Amanda Pascali, and I joined Music to Life about a year ago with an idea to create the Immigrant American Folk Music Project, bringing to light the stories of immigrants in America through music. I'm going to start us off with a song that I wrote about my father's first few months here in the United States. He was working in a refrigerator factory, and before he met my mother, he had no connections and no money. Life was, as he described it, a living hell. And for that reason, he considered America to be only his temporary home. He promised himself that one day he would go back to his home country and settle down there for the rest of his life. And he would be known as the guy who made it in America. And that's how bad it was. That's how bad life was for him here as an immigrant. I think very often we talk about the success stories of immigrants, and we love to have a rosy view of what it means to be a self-made man. But very seldom do we talk about that initial chapter, the chapter that deals with being hungry, being lonely, being hopeless. And that is the beginning chapter of my father's story. So I wrote this song comparing 1980s Brooklyn to Dante's description of Inferno, or hell. And according to Dante, at the gates of hell, there is an inscription that reads, "Abandon every hope, ye who enters here." So with that, here is Temporary Home. I met him in the land where everybody says that anything can happen. He said, I haven't seen the sun, and just as soon as I have made it, I swear I'm going home. I swear I'm going home. Every morning since he donned a uniform and boots, just like he did at home, and the factory in shades of muted black and white and blue, no color at TV or home, no color at TV or home. Temporary empty room, a temporary telephone, temporary concrete ceiling, temporary home. About a man who worked the sickle with his hand on a voice that roared like thunder. He said the journey to the golden ground is just along the path down 7 levels under. Oh, temporary empty room, temporary sleep alone, temporary wings to fly to a temporary home. Identity to transport, no nation, no conversation. Where do you belong? No name, no passport, no, nobody waits for you to know more. Nobody waits in this underground airport. Where do you belong? I said ain't gonna let nobody turn you around, no, turn you around, no, turn you around. Ain't gonna let nobody turn you around. Oh, where do you belong? I said ain't gonna let nobody turn you around, no, turn you around, no, turn you around. Ain't gonna let nobody turn you around. Oh, where do you belong? Oh, where do you belong? Oh, where do you Thank you so much to everybody tuning in at home. Thank you, of course, to Dallas and Brian and the whole team at SWRFA for making this online event possible. Before I hand it over to the next musician, I'm going to give a little bit of background on my story. My story begins in 1984. In 1984, an 18-year-old boy in Romania spoke out against the communist dictatorship and was thrown into a forced labor camp with other so-called undesirables. 2 years later, he sought asylum in the United States, where he fled as a political refugee after his citizenship was confiscated. Without a name, a passport, or an identity, he was forced to rebuild his entire existence. That boy was my father. And like that, a Romanian immigrant with an Italian namesake met my mother, an Egyptian immigrant by way of France, and fell in love with her. Like the inventor's engine sets the car in motion, my father's actions set off a chain of events leading to my birth in New York City. My entire existence was built on resistance. If my father would have never spoken out against the government in his home country, I would have never been born, and I would not be speaking to you right now. I was born to be a messenger of this story and a million others that seem extraordinary on the surface, but actually represent the many builders of this country. Albert Einstein, refugee. Joni Mitchell, immigrant. Bob Marley, immigrant. Eric Yuan, the creator of Zoom, our means of communication during the global pandemic, immigrant. Why are we so afraid of what we are and have been for centuries, America? Like many immigrants, my parents worked 10 to 12 hours a day when I was little, so I spent most of my time with my grandmother, who spoke only Romanian and broken English. But since my father imposed an English-only rule in our house, I had to grow up speaking broken English, only to realize later on that that was not normal American English. As a baby growing up in the Jamaican neighborhood of Queens, New York, I heard Bob Marley's voice every morning as it echoed from the nearby apartments. He and many other singers taught me English. Growing up, I had to invent my own version of English through music. I had to build my own definition of what it meant to be American. Even more than a builder, though, at a certain point I realized that I had the power and the privilege to be a messenger, delivering a voice to the struggle of my family and so many others in the world's universal language, music. In 2012, I was a teenage girl who picked up a guitar and began to write stories about my family, my parents, pieces in a centuries-old puzzle of a country that was built on the backs of immigrants. Fast forward a decade later, I'm a touring bilingual singer-songwriter, and in partnership with Music to Life, I developed an ESL program funded and endorsed by the city of Houston to help new immigrants and refugees learn English through music, and in doing so, build their own definition of what it means to be American in their own unique way. The Immigrant American Folk Project is about bringing to light the stories that refute the outdated archetype of what American looks like. The year is 2020, and these are stories of builders. Thank you all so much again for tuning in. Let's keep the music going. I'd like to introduce you to our next artist, singer-songwriter Sasha Klare-Ayvazian. Sasha is a multi-instrumentalist, a music educator, and he's the frontman of the indie folk group American Dreamer. Without further ado, Sasha Klare-Ayvazian.
Yeah, Amanda! Nice, that was beautiful. Hello, friends. My name is Sasha Klare-Ayvazian. My stage name is Sasha K.A. I'm the band leader for American Dreamer, and my project with Music to Life is called Live Oak Production, so a lot going on. I'm so excited to share my newest song. It's called California. It's about two people who live in Austin, and they're saying goodbye because one of the people is moving back to California, where they're from and where they want to be. So it's a sad song, and it's a song about saying goodbye, but also the message is, even though we're going to be apart, our relationship still has meaning and still has value, and I will always love you. I am so fortunate to be accompanied by my wife and the American Dreamer cellist, Courtney Castaneda. Without further ado, here's California.
am taking the plane to California. If you want to love me, find me there. I don't think you know about the ocean. This Lone Star State's a cowboy's affair. Love you and keep you. I wanna take you west. Big surf sunset, redwoods with deep roots. But I don't think I'll ever find you there. On smoke breaks I tell stories of the West Coast. I got family mountain calling Pacific dreams. You'd nod along while singing with the jukebox. You knew all the words, but were you hearing me? I wanna love you and keep you. I wanna take you west. Big surf sunset, redwoods with deep roots. Oh, it's a feeling that sticks. But I don't think I'll ever find you there. We'll slow down time, and tomorrow I'll go flying by first light. But don't say goodbye, I'm just going home. And if you ever come to your senses, find me where the mountains meet the sea. But if you never drop your suitcase on my doorstep, it won't change anything for me.
The project that I've been working on during my time with Music to Life is called Live Oak Production. I called it Live Oak Production because live oaks are well-known and well-loved trees in Texas. It's also a live event company, so I love that double meaning. And finally, right there is a park, and in that park there's a beautiful live oak tree, and I walk that park every day. So it felt like a really natural and organic and local way for me to start my business. So combining activism and music is a really organic and authentic path for me, and this partnership with Music to Life couldn't have been more seamless. If we continue to pollute our planet, we're going to raise global temperatures 2 degrees Celsius, which is likely to raise global sea temperatures by 10 feet. That is going to inundate the 3 billion, friends, that's billion with a B, people who live by the coasts. Imagine everyone in India and China being washed away. So this is a catastrophic global problem that is affecting everyone and everything alive that we need to address. I feel like my responsibility is to bring my industry and my community, the music community, to this fight. I want to partner with every environmental organization in the city of Austin to start, get live music to boost stimulation and promote engagement of those events, get more people out, get new communities at those events. Eventually, I'd love to have a group of sponsored artists who share our message from the stage and help proliferate our ideas and message and voice. And eventually, my big dream is to one day have an environmental meet music festival. Imagine coming somewhere for a week where we're going to celebrate the planet, hear music, plant trees, learn about solar, learn about you name it. So I'm really excited for that. I'm looking for a local action towards a global initiative. This is scary, but if we join hands and use music as our guide and as a healing presence and as a source of hope, we can make a difference and create a better future for the coming generations. I'm so excited to introduce our next presenter, Herenandez. Stephen makes amazing music and is somehow an even better person. I first got to know him when he was a guest of mine, my Musical Lives program at the Safe Domestic Children's Shelter. We then bonded even further when we were paired up for our Accelerator concert and continue to be in touch and collaborate on a number of fronts. Stephen is really a friend to me and someone I admire and look up to. His passion for his work is unbelievably real. His message is incredibly important. And he just is a great, great, great guy and has a really big heart. Without further ado, Herenandez.
Hey Sasha, I appreciate it, man. You always do a great job and I always love collaborating with you. So my name is Herenandez. I'm also in Austin, Texas. And I wanted to say thank you to SWRFA, Music to Life, and everybody watching. And y'all came here to listen to some music. So the song I'm going to be doing is called Do Something Great Today. Not .com, .today. Because I believe every single one of us has greatness in us. But sometimes we put it off and say, after I get my degree, after I get this position, after I do X, Y, and Z, then I'll start doing what I'm created to do. But I want to tell you to do it right now, regardless of what you're created to do. Do baby steps every single day so that you can fulfill that purpose. So without further ado, let's hit it.
Something great, not today, we don't got time to waste. Do something great, not today, we don't got time to waste. Do something great, not today, we don't got time to waste. We ain't got time to waste, we ain't got time to waste. Hey, 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 do something great, the way that you live, the way that you think, the way that you give, the way that you be, the way that you help, the way that you speak, the way that you grind, decisions you make, it makes your identity, change your trajectory. If we pretend to be chasing the treasury, so instead we be endlessly up in the morning and cook like a bakery. The way that you love, that's great. The way that you give, that's great. If they ask, I'm great. If they ask, you great. If they ask, we great. If you got a dream, it can wait. That's what they say, but I say do something great today. Do something great, that today, we don't got time to waste. Do something great, that today, we don't got time to waste. Do something great, that today, we don't got time to waste. We ain't got time to waste, we ain't got time to waste. Hey, 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 hey. All day, all night, no days off. We entrepreneurs, no layout. No scrimmage, we live like the playoff. We give it all day long. Tell me what it's like for you to live. Tell me what it's like for you to give. Tell me what it's like for you to see. Tell me what it's like for you to be successful. We helping you reach your potential. Reaching the sky in new levels. We live on your mental, never settle, but thankful. I know there's haters that want me in the ring like an old laundry man, but tell them I ain't got time. Ain't nobody got time for that. The way that you love, that's great. The way that you give, that's great. If they ask, I'm great. If they ask, you great. If they ask, we great. If you got a dream, it can wait. That's what they say, but I say do something great today. Do something great, that today, we don't got time to waste. Do something great, that today, we don't got time to waste. Do something great, that today, we don't got time to waste. We ain't got time to waste, we ain't got time to waste. Hey, 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 hey. Tell me what it's like for you to live. Tell me what it's like for you to give. Tell me what it's like for you to see. Tell me what it's like for you to be. The way that you love, that's great. The way that you give, that's great. If they ask, you great. If they ask, we do something great. That today, we don't got time to waste. Do something great. That today, we don't got time to waste. Do something great. That today, we don't got time to waste. We ain't got time to waste. We ain't got time to waste. Hey, 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 hey.
Thank you, I appreciate it. So as you know, my name is Herenandez, and so the program I have is called Do Something Great. It's a mentorship program that helps to build music and leadership skills with students in underserved communities. I'm convinced that I have been created and called to make a positive impact through hip-hop music. I started rapping at the age of 14, and because I didn't have mentorship or guidance, I started to interpret life through the lens of gangster rap. I started smoking, getting into fights, partying, and skipping school, and I destroyed a lot of relationships. I used to believe that success was doing whatever it takes to be the best. And if people were not helping me to do that, then they were expendable. By the time I was 20, I was signed to a local record label in Houston. I had some fame and popularity. I even had a 1967 Pontiac Catalina on 20-inch rims, but I still felt empty inside. I did what other rappers told me to do. I started chasing money, drugs, rap, girls, but I still remember sitting on my bed that night contemplating suicide. That was my turning point. Since then, I've been working with students in similar situations as my own, and I am compelled to be part of the solution, so I created the program, Do Something Great. My passion is to have a center where students can have their voices be heard. They can find their purpose even through using hip-hop music. My passion is to have a center where students can have their voices be heard. They can receive mentorship, and they can use music to manage their emotions, create a positive outlet, and be successful in life and school. Last February, we started our pilot program in McNeil High School in Round Rock. In just a few weeks, we're going to be launching our next program at Del Valley Middle School. We partner with the nonprofit Austin Bat Cave. In March of 2015, Harvard released a study that said every student that ends up doing well and successful in life has at least one stable relationship with one committed and supportive adult. All it takes is one person. So I want to be the catalyst so students can find their voice through music. We provide the best practices of songwriting. We teach entrepreneurship, leadership skills, recording, branding, and how to use our gifts as instruments of change. I want the next generation of artists to know that they are great, that they are powerful, that they have a voice, and we can be positive and have fun at the same time. So I welcome you to join me as collaborators and mentors and make a difference in our students' lives. We can be the difference between a success story and another statistic. Thank you. And as you heard so far, we are tackling some huge and complex causes. And it may be fair to assume that you're wondering how we even begin this work and what role does Music to Life play in this process. Let's take a look at how a couple of artists in their communities can really make a difference.
Can one musician really change the world? Actually, they can, but not how you might think. One model for using music to create social change is to gather celebrities together, put on a big concert, inspire millions, and encourage activism to trickle down to our neighborhoods. Think We Are the World, Live Aid, and other amazing historic music events. Global becomes local. But today's world is different. We all have the power of the media in our hands. One recording from a cell phone can coalesce a global movement. We are now local to global, and Music to Life understands this. We support movements that start small and grow, and grow, and grow. Solving a problem locally gives it the strength to scale and succeed beyond our wildest dreams. And that's exactly why we launched our Activist Musician Accelerator program. We activate today's changemakers to become self-sustaining forces of good in their own neighborhoods. We offer them the support, resources, and training they need to do their vital work. We give them a toolkit of entrepreneurial skills to become a musical crisis response team, working to revitalize and empower their communities. Just a few of these enterprising artists can have a profound effect. Imagine if we had people like them deployed in every community across the nation. Imagine how that might scale, and you can understand how their influence could be positively revolutionary. Become part of our movement to activate these pioneering musician changemakers. Because musicians can change the world when you help amplify them.
Hi again. So for those of you that joined us last year, and even those joining us now, I think you can appreciate that the Accelerator is a pretty interesting, program, and it's evolved even just over the last year, into this incredibly innovative and powerful tool for tapping local artists and revitalizing our communities. And so we've now worked actually with Accelerator artists in Texas, as you're hearing, Dallas, Houston, and Austin, and also in Northern New England, Maine, New Hampshire, Vermont, and we have some great success stories. These artists have all now developed fundable projects. They've learned how to write grants. They've learned how to collaborate with nonprofits. They've learned how to create programs that have outcomes, that really matter. And these nonprofits in need that they're working with, you're hearing about some of them here, but they include, opioid clinics, immigration advocacy centers, racial and environmental justice organizations, youth empowerment groups. These artists have all written grants, and several are now fiscally sponsored. So in this time of COVID, also, each Accelerator artist has pivoted to deliver their programs online. And in fact, the entire Accelerator has been offered as an online program and will continue to be offered that way as long as we need. So as they graduate, the artists that we've worked with bring enhanced economic as well as musical value into their communities, and they can really be part of the solution as we rebuild the fabric of our communities. So now more than ever, Music to Life is committed to growing this ingenious program around the country, because innovative social change artists like the ones you're meeting today are everywhere. They're in every community with incredible ideas for sparking change, and they really need our help. So Music to Life is here. We want to stay here, finding these artists, supporting these artists, helping engage them in the work of healing that we and our communities, particularly those less fortunate than us, need so badly. So if you would like us to stay here in Texas, bring an Accelerator to another city in Texas, even if you're tuning in from another state, if you'd like the Accelerator to reach into that state or that community, please get in touch with us, get in touch with SWRFA. We welcome volunteers, donors, or just your questions. Music2life, TOLife.org. And you know how to get in touch with SWRFA. So thanks again for being with us. And without further ado, I'd like to introduce our next Accelerator artist from Houston, Cheryl Cawood. Cheryl is a country blues folk artist, and as an activist, she's committed to providing support and hope to parents and caregivers of those who are suffering from substance abuse. So let's welcome Cheryl Cawood.
Thank you so much, Liz. And thank you, SWRFA, for having us here. The song I'm going to do for you today is about being tired of dealing with someone in your life with substance abuse disorder. And it's also about the emotion of just wanting to run away from it all. Outrun the Rain. One in the morning, who the hell's calling? I'll be damned, it's you again. By now I've collected your bazillion numbers. I flagged them all, Mr. Heroin. I swear dark clouds are outside my window. It's time to try and get out of here. I know I'm trying to outrun the rain before I'm caught up in a hurricane. I'm hitting the road. I can't take another episode. I'm moving on from the pain. I'm trying to outrun the rain. You were my first love, one beautiful soul, the brightest light I've ever known. You let addiction make you a stranger. How did you lose your self-control? Clouds like black tar, cocaine and mescaline. I'm so done with this scene. Oh, I'm trying to outrun the rain before I'm caught up in a hurricane. I'm hitting the road, I can't take another episode. I'm moving on from the pain. I'm trying to outrun the rain. This could only go one of two ways, and I'm prepared for the worst. Only God knows how hard I've prayed, and Lord, how I've cursed. I'm trying to outrun the rain before I'm caught up in a hurricane. I'm hitting the road, I can't take another episode. I'm moving on from the pain. I'm trying to outrun the rain. I'm trying to outrun the rain. I'm trying to outrun the rain. Thanks, everybody. I sure miss my SWRFA family this year. I'll see y'all in 2021, I'm sure. My story begins with the end of a marriage. I had 3 young teen daughters at the time. My youngest, Tara, she was the brightest light, college-bound, full of big ideas, but she was also a party girl. So she was smoking pot and drinking beer. Long story short, this led to heroin use. Our family would struggle for the next several years. Then one day, my world blew up. I was driving home from work, and my daughter Angela, my oldest, called, and she said frantically, Mom, I see something's wrong, so I pulled my car off to the side of the road, and she said, I think Carly is using too. Oh my gosh, Carly's my middle daughter, and she's a homebody, stay-at-home mom type of person, and I was just in shock. I sat there on the side of the road. Now there were 2. The next several years brought episodes of overdose, homelessness, jail time. Right or wrong, I decided to do tough love. Of course, our holidays were pretty stressed. I remember a particular year I didn't know what to get my girls, so I found these beautiful little delicate bracelets, and they had the word hope inscribed on them. I just wanted them to know that this mother was not going to give up. Shortly after that, I moved to Texas. Part of me was running away, maybe a little, but it was also a new beginning. My muse came alive again. I began songwriting again. I started a songwriter group with my dear friend Janet Bell, and while we were working in class, etc., we realized we had a very strong connection. Her adult son also had substance use disorder, so we realized that we just needed to write these songs. So there you have it. I had hope in my life and harmony in my life. And guess what? That's when Music to Life came into my world. They helped me to create my brand new program. It is called Hope loves harmony. I hope you'll join me and follow along on my journey with my new program. Thanks so much. The next artist you're going to meet fosters social emotional learning, creative expression, resilience, and community among young women of color. Please welcome my friend, Kamica King.
Thanks so much, Cheryl. Greetings, SWRFA. I know you all have been enjoying all the music from my fellow Music to Life mates. I've got another one for you. This one is called Live, Love, Dream. It's a song I wrote some years back, and it's about finding inspiration within, around us, as well as above. Check it out.
The stars in the sky remind me of why I live, I love, and I dream. The future is bright as I look towards the sky. I live, I love, and I dream. Never give up, Warren. You've got a chance to win. Never give in, you can win. Just hold on. Even when times get rough, you can still overcome. Never give in, you can win. Just hold on. The stars in the sky remind me of why I live, I love, and I dream. The future is bright as I look towards the sky. I live, I love, I dream. Never give up, Orin. You've got a chance to win. Never give in, you can win. Just hold on. Even when times get rough, you can still overcome. Never give in, you can win. Just hold on. The stars in the sky remind me of why I live, I love, and I dream. The future is bright as I look towards the sky. I live, I love, and I dream. I live, I love, I dream. I live, I love, I live, I love, I live, I love, I dream.
And as I mentioned this song to be about one of inspiration and hope, want to share with you all a quick story, the why behind my project, Musically You, and the work that I've most recently been doing as an activist artist in the community. So that takes us to a couple years ago. My grandmother passed away, and within 2 months, her remaining siblings passed away as well. So on top of the grief that was experienced, it was also a time that was very sobering in terms of recognition that whatever family history and information we had. Whatever we didn't, that was it. That eventually put me on a quest. I wish I had time to tell you all the details of it, but a quest to seek to preserve identity and history in ways that were not possible to do anymore with my grandmother's generation. But I was in grad school at the time, and I had to figure out what my research was going to be about. So that was a catalyst towards interviewing some of the women, the Black women in music therapy, pioneers who entered the field between the 50s and the 70s. And one of the women I interviewed, Frances Goldberg, during the course of the interview mentioned, you have this opportunity to take your skill set and what we do as music therapists back to our community to serve in that way. That stuck with me so much. And when Music to Life contacted me about being a part of the program, it all of a sudden was a light bulb moment where all the pieces fit together that said, my music, my artistry, my community work, my music therapy work, all of these things can merge together, and I can activate in my community as an activist artist. My program, Musically You, we're currently in the midst of our pilot at this point in time, and it is a socio-emotional arts empowerment program. So it's about fostering community, building bridges, building resilience, and all those things as a safe space for girls of color. So I've been paired up with an organization named Raise Hope, and it's really been amazing. We're creating a song, and it's also just such a haven and a safe space. So I just feel so blessed and fortunate to be a part of the Music to Life program and to be activated in my community in this way to create equitable change and to help raise up and reach back, knowing the power of the arts in my life to support the next generation as well. So thank y'all so much for your time. Hope you've enjoyed the music. At this point in time, we're going to kick it over to our Music to Life co-founder, Noel Paul Stuckey of the folk trio, Peter, Paul, and Mary. Take it away, Noel.
You know, the 60s, in terms of its potential to galvanize people, seemed so much easier because the issues were so clear, not so diffracted. Nowadays, the issues are so diverse and so competitive almost for your attention that, thank goodness, we have a raft of young singers and songwriters who are addressing each one of these, sometimes in their own communities, you know, whether it's teenage suicide, whether it's homelessness, whether it's whether it's the environmental issue. There's something that happens to an audience, even if it's only 6, 10, 12 people, who, because of music, understand the situation in their hearts and emotionally as a group of people who laugh together or sing together, share a deeper opportunity to be concerned. It's often been said, and I believe, that music unlocks the heart so that the mind can learn. I have a great deal of hope for the future of activist music as long as those activists are not operating out of a platform of despair. And that's what the exciting aspect, I think, of Music to Life is. Most of these artists see a problem, but they're most hopeful because inherently in seeing the problem is the desire to offer a solution or steps towards a solution. I'm gonna start a revolution. I'm gonna take it to the street. I'm gonna smile every solitary person that I meet. I'm gonna wave at total strangers, no matter where they're from. I'm gonna start a revolution. Yeah, I'm gonna win it one by one.
Thanks, Dad. You know, on the one hand, our work on the Accelerator certainly, builds upon and carries forward the activism torch from Dad's generation. And also, this is really social change music 2.0, because we're now supporting next generation artists of all genres and styles in a new and tactical way, right? Their activism isn't just happening on the stage or through a certain song or at rallies anymore. It's happening through the music-driven programs that they're delivering to communities in need. So these amazing Accelerator artists you've seen and heard from tonight are building programs of hope and inspiration with community partners and the people that they're serving. So we are so excited to keep going with the program in Texas in collaboration with SWRFA, and we're actively identifying other partners. So again, please reach out to Music to Life or to SWRFA to learn more. And I just want to thank you all so much for being with us tonight. And special thank you again to SWRFA for supporting us, for continuing to be such a great partner, and here's to the future. Please do keep in touch with us, Music to Life, the artists you've seen today. Visit our websites, our social media, and let's keep the impact of music growing in our communities around the country. So take care out there, be well, and keep standing strong. Bye.